Bhagijit is a retail professional. He carries under his sleeves over a decade long experience with retail giants like Bata, Adidas, and Bestseller. He's a product of prestigious institutions such as the Alliance Business School and IIM Kolkata. He believes that education is the master key to open the doors of success, and currently he heads part of the northern region in India, driving successfully a multi-million business with a dynamic team of 200 people. Tell us about your childhood, Bhagijit. A favorite memory that you could share with us.
Uh, I think my favorite memory, which keeps me strong till today, was probably I was at was my third standard, and when I was being appreciated across the class. Then that was the first time I had topped. I never wanted to study, and that is where I started my uh, studying academically strong perspective from there, and the way I was being appreciated in front of the entire class, in front of the entire school. That was the most memorable moment for me. It was the hard work which paid off. Also, when we said memorable, I think that was one of the more incident when I was badly bullied in the school, and that is also a part of a very important memory. I will not say a good memory, but it's a part of the important memory. When I was being bullied, I had no place to probably no. I came back from school crying, weeping big time, and that is also one of the memories which I always remember, which make me strong. Then if I could fight at that point of time, in terms of holding my grounds, I can still do it at this point of time as well.
Okay. How old were you then when this incident happened?
This incident happened. I was about 8 years. 8 years, yes. I was at about 8 years, and although I was a very short-heighted guy and easily being bullied, so that's old nut stories, and I remember each and every second of that moment.
Right. Was this the point in time in your life that you did feel that you were unsafe?
Yes, yes,
Okay.
probably yes, big time, big time. I You won't believe it. That was a time when I thought of getting out of this world, and probably all bad thoughts coming onto my life, and that nascent stage I was in, it was really sad state of fear.
Okay. What did you do at that point in time? You did mention that you came across to your family and relatives, and you obviously, told them about how you felt. What was their reaction? Tell us something about it.
So that was the first time I came in. I discussed and with my sister first, and she was like, "Okay, let's see what we can do." So another day passed away. Then the same thing happened. It returned, and it became with a bigger vengeance in terms of they had been started bullying me a big time. Then again, I never wanted to go to school at that point of time. I wanted to quit studies. I want to sit at home. I want to get out of this world. It was a that bad moment for me. I discussed with my father. I was eventually getting depressed at the age of about 8 to 9 years of age. I was started getting depressed. My academics were, at rock bottom. My grades were getting at a rock bottom. Okay, so I discussed the same thing with my father, and the way he stood for me, I think I would say no parents would have stood that strong the way he stood. He went with me in the school, talked to the teacher, talked with the headmaster, and they had even said that in case this thing doesn't stop up, it will be we might go to legal agencies. A child needs to be happy when he goes to the school, and that is how he is nurtured, and that is how he works, and he comes out great. And the way he was talking, and I was with my father that day, and that strength which I get, I still remember that strength. If I my when I would have my child, that same way I would stand with him no matter what. I think equality is giving due rights for a particular person in the society, immaterial to his sex, immaterial to his sexual preferences, immaterial to his religion, his caste, his color. We need to give them an equal right and opportunity to perform in the society. Once we give them that equality, I think we will see a better India. Why I say equality is because it has been nurtured at a very early stage. If at a very early stage we give that sense of equality in them, they can. Today, when we talk about bringing new India, this is the youth or younger India. We have about 42% of our population under 18 years. And that is the huge population we can, capitalize. And by giving them equal rights, equal opportunities, immaterial to whatever his religion, caste, place, wherever he comes from, he's an individual to perform better across and among everyone. I think everyone should have equal rights. Each and everyone should have every response rights, and everyone should have equal opportunities immaterial to from wherever he or she comes from. He has an equal right to get everything and every opportunity to seek from.
Okay. And do you think these rights that you're actually talking about, has it caused any problems around us? For example, like some people are more equal than others.
I think no. I strongly feel that the rights are the rights, and when we looking at with every rights comes every responsibility. So in case a right comes with the actual responsibility, I think I don't feel that people have been given more rights. It's all about how a person perceive themselves and how they perform. Uh, there are cases wherein people are not given rights. We don't see that they are given more rights. I think how they use their rights is important.
Okay. Do you yourself consider that you are entitled?
Yes, I would say myself, yes. I have been given ample opportunities to perform. I have been given ample rights. I have been given ample forum, ample place to perform. And I think that is the reason why I'm here. I think, yes. The recent study says every 15 minutes, a child is being sexually abused. Every 15 minutes. Look at this number. Okay, I would like to highlight one more parameter here. We have about 19% of total children in India, and those 19% makes a big number. Today, India is on a way to glory, and next 20 years will define how India is. And if those 19% doesn't turn around, and in case those 19% are underprivileged, those 19% does not get equality, those 19% people or children that doesn't get ample opportunities, look the way the India will be. So probably this is the turning point for India right now. Either they can make a great future or it can be vice versa. And the
Right.
and the matter of fact is, in a person who's been sexually abused, who is been not a person who's not been treated, a children who's not been treated well, he will probably have a lack of leadership skills. He'll have low academic records. We will be heading toward, India will go to a disaster in case those 19% children doesn't turn around at a better way. I have been connected with few other places. Although there is one of my very close relation who himself, whose son himself gone through this same sexual abuse. Although it was at a minor stage, but yes, it was. Uh, and then you actually get into and see where is India heading at the right place. We are talking about hundred of new rights. We are talking about hundred of new things, but this is one thing which we are not talking about. about 90% of sexual abuse is being done by their insiders, their own family members, and only 5% is being just reported. Where are we? What are we doing? We are bringing shame to the society in case it's not been highlighted. And look at a 10-year, 5-year, 6-year old child. What mental trauma he would be in. We get into their shoes and we'll understand where are we, what are we doing. I have an again privilege to go through the internet. I have the option of talking to people around. So I am aware. My friend is aware. We got to know at a very nascent stage. He goes. So I'll give you that incident details as well.
Sure.
But probably there are many people who doesn't know what to do next.
Correct.
I could just figure out what are the laws. We could strongly take an action against everyone. So we got to know at a very early stage. I think we are blessed to get to know that we know at a very early stage. Uh, I think there are people who doesn't know about it, and the forums like this will how people will be educated, will know about how we can turn around this problem.
Great. So, for the advantage of our audience, if you could educate them in terms of, do you know about what are the reporting mechanisms if something like this takes place in their family, or their extended family, or probably in the neighborhood?
Yes. So I think the first most important thing is once a parent is connected, he would know the first thing that there's something wrong happening with his or her child. So that is one first thing. Once the parents know, he do not have to keep quiet about it. Probably your child or someone's child is been less affected, but he or she who is a culprit might be doing at a larger and a more group of people, children he would be doing it with. So first thing is he needs to immediately understand that there's a problem and he do not have to take it politely. And he doesn't have to be let it's okay while attitude will not work. He will, if it's a school, he needs to immediately report to a principal. She or he needs to take an immediate action that has to be reported at a nearest police station no matter what. Probably in case we cannot wait for something big grievances to happen. Even if it's been caught at an early stage, he or she needs to report to a nearest police station, and that has to be very intellectually managed. Why am I saying this is because a victim should not be disclosed. A police needs to be very clearly informed that they cannot make a huge and cry about it. They have to manage and function in a very discreet way. Then in case there's a medical examination needs to be done, parents or parents should not hide away or should not shy away what will happen next. Probably if it's happened to one child, you never know that person or a culprit would be doing to so many childs. You might save someone else's family. Then in case there's a medical examination needs to be done, you have a person or a parents needs to go and get their child medically examined. And then in case they have to fight, they should and they will fight. Probably my kid, in case God forbid something happens, I will fight to the highest of the judiciary system. I will never let the culprit go away. I will not shy away from the society or what people will say. It is a it's a point of my child's life. I would also like to touch upon one more parameter is the way it is been examined, the way it is being handled needs to be changed, I think. Not only I think, I firmly believe that a child going to a police station to report this, I think there should be a separate sections, there should be a separate child welfare blocks or box wherein this can be reported. Then even in the hospitals, I feel there should be a separate sections. Every one person aligned or a two-person, a small uh, section could be aligned. Number three, I think the police people and the hospital needs to train themselves as to how to deal with this case. They need to be humble, they need to be low down, they need to come into the victim's shoes to understand it. That is a problem. So I was reading one of the case, a recent case wherein this the same thing happened. The case was given to a women police officer, and she used to come in her jeep and understand from the victim. Everyone in the society knows why police jeep is coming, right? When we say that a victim needs to be discreet in such cases, but there's a policeman coming in the society, everyone knows there's some problem here, right? He's coming in a police uniform, so that needs to turn around. That is one perspective I strongly feel. Second thing is, yes, there are all types of laws and act. 2012 is an act which is there, but what is the sensitivity of that act? People still go away with it. I think the change needs to come from the parents. They do not have to shy away from reporting. That's one important part. Going up till the court, where has to be a speedy mechanism into it. And also
Great.
there needs to be a very clear, stringent punishments. Until unless there are not no few cases onto it, they will be never as this will never stop. So honestly, probably this act was which came into 2012. This act is a mechanism wherein it prevents the child sexual abuse, which, but again, it has been very there are a lot of loose points into it, which needs to be more stringent. I would say this has to, it doesn't take 10 years to define whether a person is criminal or not criminal. Um, the way what Nirbhaya case was, I think there has to be a very strong punishment there, because they are not only damaging one child's life, they are damaging the entire family. If a child is being spoiled, the entire family is spoiled. So this needs to be more stringent. This has to have a speedy mechanism. This cannot be delayed at any point of time. There should be a separate court for handling these cases more uh, mm, in a slightly different way, the way normal cases takes care, because the way a child is traumatized and he has to go to probably a hospital or a police station and then the courts, this needs to change. This needs to change.
There is a girl child. And do you think touching the breast of a girl child while she's wearing clothes would be considered as child sexual abuse?
Absolutely, 200%. 200%. Yes. And these small things needs, even children needs to be educated about it. If somebody is giving anyone a ice cream and touching his or her, even at the back, it's a big thing at touching someone's frontal part of the body, even if it's touching at the backside, that is also a sexual abuse for me. Nobody can touch a child like this.
What about showing nude pictures? Do you think that's behavior that is considered as child sexual abuse?
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. That is how you are polluting a child. He doesn't know what is right and wrong. I think anything which is inappropriate to a child is a sexual abuse.
Okay. Lewd jokes, because we live in a generation of mobile technology, and there's a lot of jokes that get forwarded, sometimes which are very gender biased. So do you think sharing those with children, would that be considered as child sexual abuse?
I think yes, I would also say yes, because these are the small things which makes child think on the other lines of the and other at the other lines. I think this is also a part of sexual abuse. Anything showing, telling inappropriate isn't sexual abuse for me for a child. He doesn't know what is right and wrong, right or wrong. Even a small sexual joke will lead to a different chapter which we don't know. A child is less on confidence.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't come up strongly with his opinions. He
Mm-hmm.
is always shy.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, he's anxious. He's getting bad dreams. He's the moment you try to wake him, he wakes up in a different manner. He doesn't have a good sleep. His head is aching. His overall, he's low on energy, low on enthusiasm. I think these are the key behaviors you need to understand, that because child is one, he should be super active. He should be very happy. He doesn't know what sales pressure is at that point of time, right? So he should be super happy. It is difficult. It is difficult. A regular counseling needs to be done, and yes, it's not about child who comes back. We have to ensure that he or she comes back strong, and we have to do a regular counseling. And I strongly feel with a regular nurturement, with a regular counseling, with the regular love and affection, I think we will be able to get that child back on track. But for that, the thing needs to come up to us. That thing needs to be reported to the concerned parents. Till the time the things are not being reported, nobody will work on a thing on that lines. And it's a very important parameter for the parents to ensure that he or she knows what their child is going through. In a busy lives, I think the biggest problem in a society is that parents do not have time for the children. I think that needs to change. If I would be Gattu's parent, I will definitely. And I strongly feel the kind of background I could look at it. Probably, I think they will. They will. Yes. So problem here is this only, because 90% of these cases is happening within the family, and it is not a
Right.
family matter. It is about how the future of his own child will be. And it is not a family matter. There probably you never know that God forbid that Chacha would be doing something serious with your child later down the stage. Probably he would be doing with the other children. Absolutely not. The problem here, which awareness needs to be created, immaterial to his close family friend or their relatives, this needs to be corrected. Doesn't matter if it's his own father or mother for that matter. Right is right and wrong is wrong, immaterial to his uncle or what chacha they had. It is about right and wrong, and it is about the future of the child. You never know, there would be a lot of it's not only about the diseases, it's about his mental growth, his physical growth, what he will think probably after 20 years down the line. And also his relation with the parents will go haywire probably if the parents couldn't take a stand for his child at the age of 4 or 5. So I think that will their parents' relation will also go haywire. If I would have been in this their case, yes, we will definitely, no matter what. And this needs to be highlighted. It's not only because of my child. You never know about how many more child would be spoiled because of his chacha. So educated or not only educated, I would say a strong parents will definitely take an action against chacha.
Would the family, in this case, if they don't get any support from the police authorities, would they make use of the POXO e-box or the child helpline number?
Absolutely, yes. So there are multiple doors which are there. It is not only about police. They have many other tools. They can directly approach with the helpline. They will come and rescue. And I am 100% sure that our jurisdiction is not that bad that they will not get help anywhere. If there's one door closed, the God opens the other door. We'll have a very clear defined mechanism. So what how we do that is there has to be steps and the tiers into it. First step is educating and creating awareness. People need to be aware what is child abuse, what are the key parameters into it. So awareness, education, regular videos, sending a quick video of about 5 minutes, 4 minutes, pumping in their social medias, getting these it's involved with the NGOs, and that is one parameter. Because more people get educated, more action will be taken. So that is one. Number two, and very key thing will be do not shy away from reporting the things. And number three, educating the hospital, the police, or the judicial system to take a clear and appropriate action. I think these key things, if work out strongly, I think awareness, reporting, and third is people with who have the authority like the police or the courts and the hospital. If these three things have been sensitized, I think we will create a good safe space.
Okay. And any timeline for this in terms of, that you think that this particular goal of yours or this plan of yours should be achieved?
This is one medium which I'm discussing with you, and apart from that, this will be a regular awareness going through my side in my all, because I am also associated with one or more NGOs wherein we have been pumping out a lot of information on the same child education, female foeticide, and child sex abuse. So we have been discussing on these key parameters. So that is what we are already doing it from and from the same pace, we would like to also highlight the same perspective to the courts, to the jurisdiction, to the hospital, to have a separate room for the affected bodies, effective victims in the hospital rather than going through that trauma, and they need to be trained. So my next awareness is already we are doing. Second part is training them to be more conscious, more less loud, and more effective in this. So probably 365 days from here today, I would say that this is the second thing we would look at. So I am a Rakshin.
Thank you so much. Okay, have a good evening, Bhagijit, and thank you once again for spending some time with us.
Thank you so much, and it's a great time. Thank you so much.